So question number 15, in an examination, 70% of the candidates passed in physics, 80% passed in chemistry, 5% failed in both, 220 passed in both. How many candidates appear for the examination? So basically, at the end of the question, we require the total number of students who had appeared for the examination. So just to illustrate how we will go about doing the question, so this would be my universal set. I'm representing this by xi. I have to find the value of xi. 70% of the candidates passed in physics. So this would be physics. 70% would feature here. 80% passed in chemistry. So these would be the guys who would feature here. These would be chemistry guys. These are physics guys. They are 80%. See, these are percent figures. 5% failed in both. So 5% have failed in both. See, all of these are percentages. Before this, we had done a question where there were fractions. So you'll have to understand that these are not absolute figures, they are percentages. 220 have passed in both. So 220, so this one has 220. How many candidates appeared? Now, one thing before we start the question is, please understand, you should very clearly understand before you start doing the question. So this is physics, this is chemistry. These are 220 students. Here, when they are given the physics numbers, they are in percentage. The chemistry numbers are also in percentage. The people who have failed in both are also in percentage. But this is in absolute numbers. This is 220. So I'll start with the assumption that my xi, my universal set has x number of students. So for example, when I'm calculating physics, which is 70%, so physics would be 70% of x. You need to clearly understand this. When I'm calculating chemistry, chemistry is 80% of x. 80% of x. So you'll have to write this as 80 upon 100 into x. So now this 70% of x and this is 80% of x. So these are absolute numbers. So, for example, 5% failed in both. So this 5% would have to be represented as 5% of x. So basically what I'm saying is 70 upon 100x, 80 upon 100x, 5 upon 100x, 220. These are the comparable figures. These are the absolute numbers. They are not percentages. So when I'm forming the equation, I'll have to consider the absolute numbers also only. So my equation would look something like this. So 70% have passed physics. So this is the physics pass numbers. Plus the chemistry pass numbers are 80 upon 100 into x. 80 upon 100 into x. These are the chemistry passing students. 220 is being counted twice. It becomes part of the physics also, it becomes part of the chemistry also. So this has to be subtracted, minus 220. Actually, in the previous question, we had a detailed discussion where I took an example to illustrate this process, that why, we have to subtract 2. In this question, in the previous question number 14, we had discussed this. So you can have a look at question number 14 solution to find the discussion again. But when I'm forming the equation, what I'm trying to say is that when I'm forming the equation in this question, so 70 upon 100x plus 80 upon 100x minus 220 plus, because there are students which didn't pass any of the exams. So this 5 upon 100x, let me raise this. So this 5 upon 100x. Whole of this, when I add this, whole would be equal to the total number of students x. And then I'll have to solve the equation. So this is how it will look like. This is how it will look like. So these are the physics guys, these are the chemistry people. This 220 was counted twice, so it has to be subtracted once. These are the failures, and whole of this would be equal to x. Now, when you have to solve this equation, it becomes difficult to solve this equation. A trick that you can use is you can multiply both sides of the equation by 100. This is a trick you can use. So what I'll do is, I'll multiply both sides by 100. This is how I'll do it. Why do I do this? Because this 100 and this 100 will cancel, so I have 70x. This 100 and this 100 cancels, I have 80x. 220 will be multiplied by 100, so it becomes 220 into 100. 100 and 100 cancel, it becomes 5x, so this is 100x. So when I calculate this would be x would be equal to 400, which is the required answer. So, the thing that needs to be understood is you need to differentiate between the percentage figures and the absolute, the percentage numbers and the absolute numbers. That is something that needs to be taken care when you are doing this question. So again, a bit of difficult question. Again, you maybe have to see this solution twice. And let's move to the next question, question number 16. And finally, question number 17. So finally, we'll be doing question number 16 and 17. Both of these are easier questions. Let's start. In a class, the student can speak either Hindi or English or both. Hindi or English or both. Okay. So there is no one who can't speak both of these languages. Okay. 40 speak Hindi, 28 speak English, and 20 speak only in English. So this is how the situation will look like. We are talking only of two languages, so Hindi and English. So this would be my universal set. Hindi, English. So 40 speak Hindi. So these would be 40 speaking Hindi. 28 English. 28 English. And 20 speak only English. So this is Hindi. This is English. Now 20 speak only English. So what they are trying to imply here is 20 speak only English. What they are trying to say is that this portion these are the people who speak only English. So these are the people who can't speak Hindi. So this is how they look like. So this portion, this portion is equal to 20. Hope this is making clear. Hope this is making sense. So out of these, so for example, in 28 who speak English, it can be written as 20 plus 8. Why 20 plus 8? Because there are 20 people who exclusively speak English. They can't speak Hindi. But 8 people are there who can speak both Hindi as well as English. And then the questions follow. So let's look at so this question can be easily solved using Venn diagrams. So Hindi, English. So as I have stated, in English there are 20 students who speak exclusively English. 28 are English. Now in the universal set, see what you need to understand in my universal set. Okay, I have to find the universal set. So this is unknown. Now the Hindi students are 40. Now see, I have been given that 8 students speak Hindi as well as English. So for example, they have written here that I have calculated that 28 speak English. When 28 speak English and 20 speak only English, so I can make out that there are 8 people who speak Hindi as well as English. So basically I know the intersection. So I know this intersection 8. So this intersection 8 can be applied to the Hindi students also. So there will be 32 students who will be exclusively speaking Hindi only. Hope this is making sense. So when I have to calculate my universal set, there is a total number of students that will be equal to 20 plus 8 plus 32. So these will be the students who 40 plus 20, 60. So in the class there are 60 students. 40 plus 20, 60. So 60 students total are there. And let's look at the next question, question number 17. So again, almost similar question. In a school, 200 students play football, 150 play cricket, 70 played both. How many play only football, only cricket? So now universal. In a school, 200 play football, 150 play cricket, 70 plays both. How many play only football, only cricket? So when I draw the diagram, see, 130 are there, 200 there are there in football, 150 are there in cricket, but then 70 play both. So when 70 are playing both, so out of the total football players, I have to subtract 70 to find these 130 people who play football only. So these 130 play football only. And out of the total 150 cricket players, if I subtract 70, I get 80 So 80 are pure cricket players. So basically 130 are pure football players. 80 are pure cricket players. 70 play both. So if I have to find the universal set, and I assume that there is no other sports which is available, and students have to choose between these two sports only. So my total would be this would be 150 and this would be 280. So my universal set would have 280 students. What is being asked? How many play only football? Only cricket. So I have found the universal set also. So I hope this is a pretty long lecture. I hope this was useful for you. We did theory also. We did a lot of questions also. And still, if there is any doubt, please let me know. And if you found this useful, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe for more such detailed videos. And best of luck. Best of luck for your future and best of luck for your exams. Yeah, let's meet again.